thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your perspectives. And obviously, supply and demand 101. If it's something's priced to sell, it's going to sell. In the market, if it's meeting the market conditions. Jordan, anything you want to share in that part before we get started?
No, I want to let the team roll, man. They're ready
Let
to
them
rip.
go.
So with Mr. Carlos, he was actually a referral from our lending team here.
Okay.
Beautiful file. He had all of his documents in. He had an underwritten approval. We verified income, assets, literally everything that needs to be verified. Our lending team verified. Only hiccup, he had the assets he needed for a down payment. He was just a little bit light on, reserves and the closing costs. So basically, what we had to do is we had to identify properties, that gave
What
him.
that, if you can just, I'm sorry, what do you mean? But can you elaborate on that part a little bit? What was the struggle with the reserves and how was that
Yeah,
impacted?
he had plenty of money to save for his down payment. He just didn't have, enough money for reserves and then his closing costs. On
Okay.
all
So
real
he was,
estate transactions, you're going to have
got it.
your down payment, closing costs. He had the down payment, but not quite enough money for the closing costs.
Got it.
So yeah, in this situation, we were going for a pretty aggressive number on that. Just to once again make sure we had enough reserves, make sure we were able to get a little bit extra money for any unexpected expenses that might come up.
Sure.
Maybe if there's a little bit extra, get a little more lucrative rate. So we were actually able to identify a property that gave him, the space him and his family needed, and they were actually willing to give us a full 6% of the sales price towards his closing costs and prepaid items. And I'm sure you all know that's the highest amount of money we can take on this FHA style loan.
So 6% back from the seller.
Yeah,
That's a big, what was the price point on that property?
that was at 325.
Ballpark? So that's almost 20 grand you're
Yeah,
asking for from the seller.
it was big, but
Okay.